Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of hunting off the ground with a longbow in Tennessee. And this time it's even harder, as I have to wear blaze orange. Gun season opened up a couple weeks ago. I've actually hunted a few times with the blazing colors on, but I haven't really had deer within bow range since I've had to do that, and so I don't really know how much they're gonna pick me off. But I definitely wish that I had gotten my goal done to get a deer off the ground on camera earlier than this, but I believe that my two main spots are these really big swampy areas. I've seen some buck sign in there, I've seen some tracks, and I've seen a couple groups of does, but I'm not really seeing anywhere near as many deer as I saw last year or the year before. In early season, I jumped 2 deer that looked really lethargic. I could almost walk up to them. One of them was still in velvet, and it just kind of got my brain thinking that possibly there's been some EHD in this area where I'm at, and that a lot of deer have passed away, and the density that I normally see in this area has not been there. So I've hunted quite a few times and not seen a deer, and this spot historically has not normally been that. It's normally always seeing something, and I have not once this year, which is very weird, seen a deer with his antlers outside of his ears.
Mo changes course and grabs his hunting clothes because we have a monster buck in our backyard right now, literally
On our first bow hunt a couple nights ago, and we didn't see anything. And last year I saw multiple, but we're going to try to get her out 1 or 2 more times before the season's over. Spots that I've hunted quite a bit, and I'll probably put all of that other area together. And that just ain't been the case this year. But I may post a video. My wife went But I say that to say I really wish I was hunting with her this morning. Once I convinced her to get out, and we went out in the yard and practiced and all of that, and she felt confident, I kind of stopped getting excited about hunting by myself with my longbow. And in all honesty, I told her I would hang this thing up forever if I could hunt with her every time for the rest of the year, and probably for the rest of my life, because that was the most fun I've had in a long time, even though we didn't see anything. We saw a bobcat, actually, but we have a friend that has a double man tree stand that has quite a few bucks passing through on, and we're going to try it again another time. Try to maybe find a cold front. It was warm that evening. Try to find a cold front and try to get babysitters again. That's the key to having both parents in the woods. Gotta have a good babysitter. My mom watched my kids this last time and had an awesome time. Anyways, it's late November, Black Friday. While everybody out is, in the world is standing in big lines trying to get a big Black Friday deal. Sneak in the woods and try to get the real Black Friday deal. But being late November, I feel like one of them bucks you see hobbling around, panting, trying to recover from the madness of early November. Just because I've been hitting it hard and work hasn't slowed down. And so I've just added, along with a lot of work, getting up early and hunting, and a couple evening hunts here and there. So I'm tired, but it sure would feel good to connect with a big white-tailed deer today, or even just a doe. I am not sure yet if I'm going to pop this decoy out. I'm kind of torn in half about it, but we will see. Talk soon. See you in the woods. Sneaking through the woods here. They heard me from across the field. And came over about 80 yards across the field and probably stood here at 50 yards from me. about 3 minutes, I very softly and loudly set my decoy down. Only 5 feet from the creek. Once I get in the creek, I'm pretty well totally silent. But they just walked off with their tails up, but I still see them feeding in the field. So I don't know what to do. We'll see. there's a big field in front of me. So I think bucks could see my decoy for quite a ways away. I just don't know how much they're gonna care about a decoy this late in November, when I have to come in contact with a particularly aggressive buck. I just decided last minute to use the decoy, just hoping that if I see a buck out in the field, I can act aggressive towards him. And hopefully this buck will come in and not be paying attention to me. We'll see. Felt really clunky getting in here this morning, and just leaves you with a frustrating feeling. My feet are cold already. But I've gone out and it has felt perfect and not seeing anything, so maybe me coming out feeling like everything's going wrong is the morning when it'll happen. We'll see.
Well, that technically worked. But the deer would have been standing at 5 yards, focused on the decoy. Broadside perfect if she would have taken 2 more steps. She saw the decoy from about 80 yards away and got curious. Walked down this path. I expected them to walk on ahead of us, if either that way or cruising would happen straight that way. I can see a long ways off. She came up to the last 2 steps I needed. Birds sound beautiful. It feels good not to get have her in my shooting land. Deer within bow range again. And she got nervous and wanted to go around behind the decoy. Went around behind the decoy, and I'm guessing she was 27 yards. And both of her fawns as well walked that same path. We had to stare down. Had my orange on. And it worked. She was just out of range and just out of my shooting lane. We got in that terrible stare down that happens to me all the time when I'm on the ground, and my feet started to freeze behind me if I don't get them moving. They freeze, and then my toes are bent because I'm sitting on my feet. And that's not a problem when there's no deer here, because I keep moving and I change positions and all this. But when I looked at my phone and I had been videoing for 16 or 17 minutes, I was coming up on 20 minutes of sitting on my feet. They started to hurt and go numb, and I just had to move them, even though she was just sitting there staring at me. And I think I had gotten to the point where she was nervous enough where she was not going to commit that extra 10 yards I needed. About, if she'd have came in 5 more yards, I probably would have shot. If she gave me a shot where she wasn't looking at me. But, man, would have been really nice to get it finished up. I will say, with the 3 does that I saw this morning, and then And those 3 does that came in from a different direction. There's a convergence of a lot of doe scent right here. A lot of trails that lead to right here. If any buck would cross their trail and want to cruise along here and then see